This is Miriam of Miriam's Crafting Supplies. I am here today to show you how to use these star-shaped flowers in two different sizes to create some larger, more elaborate flowers. So I have used the antique bronze brad, one small flower and two of the larger flowers, along with the medium-sized leaf. And you can do it with these, you can do it with other products from the store. The Style B flower embellishment you could do it with, except it doesn't have a hole in the middle, so if you feel that you can poke a hole, you could use one of these. It's an all, this one's from Vintage, and I actually have to use it in this project as well, because this hole in the center of the small flower is not large enough to fit the brad. So you just kind of take it, the awl, and move it around in there until you make the hole bigger. This is intended for poking holes and for the purpose of making holes bigger. Also, the hole in the medium leaf isn't quite big enough, so you need to do the same thing on that one. So on this first style of flower, all I did was take each one and just kind of make it a little bit more bent to give it a little bit more dimension than just the curves that come naturally in it. So then you take and stack these. I did it so that the bottom one was just off from the one above it. And actually, it's probably easiest to do it with the brad. Start with the smallest flower and put the brad right through there. Get it through as far as you can. Make it nice and tight, otherwise the flowers will move around and end up back stacked up on top of one another. So as I go, place that one so that the points are in the middle of the petals. And then this one, so that, again, see, that one wants to go right back. And line those up just the way you want it. Last step, put that leaf on, and then flatten out the brad. And again, they really like to stack, so you gotta really push it, get it so that brad is holding it nice and tight, and then you got the flower. Then the other option is, if you want to make it even more 3D, then you would take each of the flowers, and they're very thin metal, so they're nice and easy to cut. So what I did was I cut all the way through, except for the center, in between each petal. There's one cut, two, and each time I'm cutting through 1, 2, 3 sections. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now all the petals are separate. So now I can really lift it and make it nice and 3D. If you want to arrange the petals in a certain way, you can do that. But please, please be careful. These edges are sharp. You can cut yourself on this metal, so please, please be very careful if you cut these pieces not to hurt yourself. So then the next layer, cut 1, 2, 3, all the way down except for the middle part. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then on this section, I was moving these pieces in to give it more room to fold on each one, and I ended up bending them too much and ended up with a petal that came right off of it. So again, you want to be careful folding it, not to fold it too many times. But that turned out to be okay because it gave some nice room for these to go. So you can purposely take a petal off if you want to. That's good. And then another thing you can do to give it a little bit more dimension is to bend it. I bent these petals, each one in, and bent the top down, in, and see it kind of, bends, but you can put it back the way you want it. These are great, nice, flexible metals. So there we go, we have the next layer. And then on the bottom layer, I just did the top one in between the petals. That way it has a more stable base. Okay. So then just kind of bend each one up a little bit. And bend. So there you've got a nice little base with just a little bit of extra dimension. There's your next step. And your last step. So I'm going to take this piece, put the brad right through, the brad right through that one, through the leaf, and then make sure they are arranged how I want them. I'm going to turn it a little bit more. I like the way it looks, so I will close up the brad. And there you have it. A very nice three-dimensional flower. You can do the 5 petals on the middle row to give it a little bit more openness. This has a bit more fullness. And then there's the flatter version of it. You just need scissors and awl, the medium-sized leaf, 2 large star flowers, 1 small star flower, and 1 brad. And if you don't like the look of the extra leaf coming off the side, you don't have to have that. Another option, if you want to have a leaf but you don't want a leaf on the side, is this bottom row here. You can use acrylic paint and paint it green so that becomes leaves underneath. You could do, just one of the leaves green, however you want it, and might be good to put a few dots of glue in there so that the layers stay nice and solid, or maybe hammer down that brad. Alrighty, have a good day.